a map. So if I'm picking up data from, say, University of Mumbai and from Santa Cruz and from Varadi, or I'm taking data from Pune, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and multiple such cities, then the data comes with a location tag. And this location tag perhaps provides us a very different ability to look at the data. That is, ability to map data spatially and analyze data using spatial information. So when we write our routine regression models, we have y is equal to b1 x1 plus b2 x2 plus bk xk plus e. The moment we get spatial data, we get the ability to bring in spatial parameters into equations, and that provides an amazing ability to make predictions that we never had before. Things like geographically weighted regressions and those kind of things, which is a unique ability a behavioral scientist, a political scientist, an economist, uh, a psychologist will gain by the lectures that Dr. Aparna would engage. I am very happy that she is sparing time to talk to us about this. She is currently associated with, she is a professor at Department of Geography, University of Mumbai. She's PhD in geography, and she's done a good amount of work in the field. Uh, I must say that we have a affinity for Aparna also because she has done some training in counseling, and she is a qualified RBT therapist, which is a rare feat for a geographer. Uh, and that makes me really happy that there are people in geography who have interest in psychology. And like there are two people I really keep talking to from geography department, Praveen and Aparna. And the one of the things that happens when you strike a interdisciplinary dialogue is the ease with which the other people talk to you and try to learn your language and try to speak in your language, because often interdisciplinary dialogue is halted because people can't speak each other's language, or they have an inertia that I will, because there is a safe zone that if I'm talking about psychology, I'm in a safe zone. The moment I venture in economics or political science or geography, I am putting myself in an unsafe zone. So people who are willing to those kind of willing to take those kind of risks, academic risks, because there is a chance that whatever you do might not actually be valuable, because this path is never walked. And these, like she and Praveen, these are two people I really find it so easy to talk to them. And thanks to Aparna, she makes it easy for people like us who do not have any background in geography. Honestly, वो, uh, I took a lot of time to learn that Mercator projections are different than the routine maps that people draw, and perhaps size of Africa is way bigger than size of America and Canada put together. And these are some things that like I am that dumb when it comes to geography. And despite that, these people talk nicely with me is their niceness that they have. She has done wonderful papers. She has published papers and reports, uh, uh, for example, conflicting spaces in peri-urban areas of Mumbai or Mumbai metropolitan region, impact of urban challenge. And she is always trying to understand city from a geographer's perspective and from a very, I would say, a well-being perspective than just from a utilitarian perspective that city should provide certain utility to people. She tries to go beyond that, and she's trying to understand city as a landscape and how various aspects of city can be understood uh, to make it a better livable space for everyone. Uh, I was very happy when I met her when she did the biodiversity audit of university. If you come to University of Mumbai, you would see those QR codes on all the trees on in the university, and you can simply get your camera, scan a QR code. You will get exact information of that tree, including the location of the tree, and that's something amazing. Like that's serious hard work plus huge amount of intellectual effort she has put in. I have also gone through the report they have generated about what is the carbon footprint of university and all of that, and amazing work she has done. And how one like that was a wonderful example of how your intellectual capital can directly be useful to your institution and the surrounding that you are in. I'm very happy that Aparna, you have agreed to talk to all of us, and we're looking forward to your session, and we are looking forward to learn things. And not only participants, but I must say, I am also looking forward to learn a lot of things from you. So yeah, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a gracious introduction. I think I'm not able to now express myself, but I'm a very small person, and I'm just it is always a team effort. And even for biodiversity audit, it was the entire team that was put to work, and then all of them they were so. I mean, especially students, and then Nisha madam from life sciences. All of us we worked together. These were some 24 people together voluntarily coming and working for geocoding the trees and then getting the information and finally emerging with some sort of maps. And I'm going to show everything to you. So I can see Shami. And hi, Shami.
Yeah, nice to see you, Aparna.
Oh, it was a surprise, Shami, that you're there in this course, and it's nice because don't I mean we feel quite close because she was also participant in my
Correct,
refresher, and we
correct.
have enjoyed that sustainability course like
Truly,
anything.
truly, truly, truly.
Yeah, so nice to have some known faces here. Thank you so much. So I will put my video off because there will be so many things happening in the background. So I will put my video off now, and it is better that we should have some proper resolution for it. So basically, when we had a discussion, myself and Dr. Vivek, what we were trying to look for was that how basically we can use this particular open data kit, or rather, how we can use spatial data, and how what is this spatial data science, and then probably we will move. So, like the 3 hour slot, and I think Dr. Vivek, 10 minutes break we have to give, right? 11:30 to 11:40.
Yes, 11:30 to 11:40 is a 10
Yes,
minutes
yes,
break.
yes. Also,
You can
just
make it 15 minutes if you want to.
no, no. I mean, it depends upon the participants how far, how early they get. Have that feeling of boredom and all. So that depends on them.
Okay,
Hopefully,
up to all of you.
yeah, yeah. So I request Shami or Sarika just to ping me that it's 11:30 stop. Okay. So I'll stop, and then 11:40 again we can start with the 10 minutes break. So first thing, what basically I have a lot of interest in. Probably I have interest in everything, but then I'm trying to now focus upon um, urban and then basically spaces. And then when you start talking about spaces and when you say spatial, so like I would like to know your understanding when you say spatial. So what is spatial? And because there is a big, huge maramari in geography what approach should be hired when you talk about development, whether it is a regional approach or whether it is a spatial approach. And from there, actually, this spatial thing has come, basically. Can anyone just tell me that what is this spatial is all about? In social sciences, when you say space, what is this space?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes. You can call me Aparna, please. Yeah.
Um, I think spatial means it's a location-based analysis. If we are having some data from different location, it will give us different perspective from that of the data. Depends on the location, and their people and their reflection of culture would be reflected on the data. So it's completely a location-based analysis.
Okay. So that is the spatial in terms of GIS, right? What is
Yes.
space in general in social sciences? Space, concept of space that has been that has been borrowed from physics, and that was put to work by Henry Lefebvre, and then you will find that David Harvey, and then probably entire social scientists started talking about space.
Ma'am, distance between two objects in terms of physics could be space.
Acha, then physics, if you try to see with the space, then are you able to see the space? You can just feel the space, isn't it?
Yes,
You can
yes.
experiment with the space. Yes, yes.
Now, for space in geography, we are basically focusing on the latitude, longitude based analysis and location. But in case of some other social science, we can also talk about space like mental space, relative and absolute space, and all
Exactly.
these things.
Exactly. That's the point. So when you say spatial, spatial has two connotations. Okay. The first connotation is that space that has been taken from physics, and then the space that you can experience, the space that you can probably feel, but then the space that you cannot prove. That is first point. That look, this is my social space. This is my mental space, and Dr. Vivek is here, and then so I dare to make this statement that mind is a space because you cannot prove where it is. You cannot prove the location of the mind, isn't it? And so that space in social sciences. And now it is very interesting that, see, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to tap that space through the GIS Wala space. Okay. And this is what you people would be doing after this session, that you're trying to tap the social space, you're trying to tap the perceptions, cognitions, you're trying to tap, understand, people. Okay. And you will find that there are so many micro spaces within a place. So geography में और एक हमेशा का मारा मारी रहता है कि place and space. So we keep on bothering students on these, terms, that what is place. So place has got, as Alaknanda said, that place has got definite location, lat long. You can say that Mumbai is located at this latitude, longitude. Okay, but then the kind of space we enjoy in Mumbai, okay, that going to Chowpatty is a cultural space, isn't it? And then going to those cow gullies, okay, it is a cultural space, and that is something probably which we cannot really express in terms of qualitative data, and it becomes quantitative. Sorry, quantitative data, it becomes qualitative, and when it is qualitative data, it is very difficult that way to map the qualitative data. And qualitative data comes in the form of perceptions, it comes in the form of stories and all that kind of stuff. Now, so whenever we are talking about these two spaces, so one space is in social sciences is this, that is basically a space, that you cannot really have a location. But then through GIS, we can actually even, geotag this particular space by mapping the perceptions of people, right? These two things. Is it clear, the connection? First space is what? It is the social space, cultural space, economic space. Suppose if I'm asking you that what kind of a economic freedom you have being working women, and if you say that, okay, fine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 economic freedoms we enjoy. So that is space. How I will convert into the GIS wala space, I will actually get your location. Maybe your home. And then I will say that, look, in this particular building, there are some 10 working women. And this is how, the economic space gets patterned. That's what I can say. Okay. So this is exactly what we try to do, and this is something which probably all these applications allow us to do, and that is something most important. I'll start my PPT now. So basically, I am Aparna, and I'm doing this particular presentation with Mr. Nikhil Gavai, because this ODK and all these applications, we both explored, and then I would definitely give him 60% credit for all these mapping things, because he's very good at mapping. So whenever we talk about the spatial data science, so what it is, as I said, is spatial data. So rightly, answered by Alaknanda, that whenever it comes to spatial data, it is also geospatial data. And so whenever you talk about this geospatial and spatial data, you will find that um, it is basically where you can understand the latitudes and longitudes of this particular data, and you can actually uh, map this data using those locations. Now, as the sir was mentioning, that whenever it comes to the location, and he was mentioning about the projection, so you will find that there are several technicalities with which the maps are prepared. I am not going to really enter into these technicalities, because all the softwares now, they have all these projections, and then for India it is WGS 84 projection that we basically use. So I am not entering into all those details, but let us try to see what is it. Okay, now whenever it comes to spatial data, okay, what basically we come to know. So whenever it comes to spatial data, you will find that basically the very first thing what we come to know is the spatial relationship. So what is the relationship that is established in a particular space? Okay, so that is spatial relationships. We also get to see spatial patterns. Patterns, I'll come to some of the representative pictures and you will understand. Now, spatial relationships is what? That you will always find, that certain things are associated. So, for example, if you talk about the urban sprawl, like, cities is spreading horizontally, and you will find that, that sprawl is always associated with the this transport lines. And if I show you the sprawl or the map of the sprawl, you will be amazed to see that how basically the cities are spreading horizontally along the transport line. So this is a kind of a correlation. And so transportation line as a space, as an infrastructural space, and then the residential, commercial, economic land uses as another, you can say, spaces, and how actually they are closely associated with each other. So these spatial relationships we can always understand. Now, whenever you talk about, say, slums, you will always find there is always some sort of spatial, you can say, specificities vis-a-vis the development of slums. And slums will always emerge in the areas like swamps, in the areas that are basically the margins of the cities, municipal boundaries, where one municipal boundary is about to and other about to start, and then you will find that there is a very hazy kind of a boundary between two municipalities. The slums will definitely emerge there. So this kind of a spatial relationships I'm talking about. Spatial patterns, you can very clearly come out with patterns, like whenever you map, you emerge with patterns, and you can see that okay, this particular area is basically fine. It emerges as concentration of a particular, you can say, element. Maybe it is crime, and you will find that a particular area emerging with showing rather very high incidences of crime and all that kind of stuff. So you will find that this is also very much there. Spatial interactions. Spaces are basically shaped by people, and there are several processes that shape spaces, and you will find that they struggle, they have protests, they have you can say all kinds of negotiations, deliberations. And hence whenever you talk about these you can say interactions, spaces are very dynamic, and these spaces are basically very much shaped by processes, and hence you will find that these spatial interactions. So there are also interaction between two spaces. Okay, two cities, for example, so Mumbai and Pune. There is also a spatial interaction between a slum and you will find that an industrial area. Say, for example, earlier cotton textile mills were there, and almost all the slums in Mumbai that were very much close to these industrial areas, these cotton textile mills, for example, Raymond. So Raymond, giving out the shirts, and the women in the slums, they were supposed to stitch the buttons. Okay, such kind of a functional relationships. Spatial influences. So basically, how these spaces, share influence on several elements. Okay, and in spatial analysis, that with all this, the kind of patterns you get, it is possible for you to emerge with spatial analysis. So if you can see the spatial relations, can you see? If you look at this is a river, and you will find that with this river, the slums. If you see, you can clearly see the slums, and these slums are exactly near this particular river. Okay, this is the, if you see in most of the cases, the slums always try to, as I said, try to locate themselves near the swamps. Okay, because these are unclaimed lands, and that's the reason that happens. Look at this spatial pattern, very interesting spatial pattern. Can you see the spatial divide? These are images of Mumbai. Then this images have been taken through drone. You can clear cut see the slum and then the high rises, and then you will find that this is a spatial pattern. Now just imagine, if I am geotagging this particular spatial pattern, it is going to give me a wonderful ground for analysis. Okay, people and spaces, look at the interaction. And in RA, I would quote this as an example, that how people were trying to, work with the space, and that is basically RA. And then how actually the government was also trying to envision this particular space. So you'll find that, so spaces are basically what? They are basically the end result of amalgamations and negotiations between different spaces. Now just look at this. In first photograph, it is just a photograph, and so it is showing me the sentiments. In the second photograph, I am getting the spatial data. Okay, fine. This is the area of Sanjay Gandhi National Park. That is SGNP again. On the other side of the river, that is other bank. Now I can also see the RA colony. And now I can very much, envision that, okay, this particular photograph belongs to this particular, this particular location, RA colony. And hence, this is basically the um, tagging of the incidences. That okay, fine. So this is RA colony, and this is where these trees were cut. 7 minutes. One tree was cut at the rate of 7 minutes. And spatial analysis. And if you look at this spatial science, what we talk about GIS, you will find that this particular map is 1854. It is as old as 1854, and you'll find that in London, in there was an outbreak of cholera, and you'll find that John Snow actually tried to basically show this particular uh, map, and you will find that here you can clearly see that how he is actually trying to map the incidences of cholera in this particular map. Okay, now with this particular map, then it became quite easy for the administrative people to really locate the spaces where the cholera has got the incidence of cholera is quite more. And hence, with this kind of a thing, they were able to understand that which are the localities where the incidence of cholera is the highest. And then the nowadays we talk about this particular resilience, adaptation, and mitigation. So the mitigation practices, they were then focused more on those areas where the incidence of cholera was more. I think someone has raised hand. I'm not able to see because it is a full screen for me in laptop. Yeah, anyone wants to ask?
Rekha ma'am, you had a question.
Pardon?
Rekha madam had a question.
Okay,
She
okay.
raised
Yeah,
her
yeah.
hand.
Yes, Rekha, madam.
My message, I think she must have raised it.
Aparna,
Yeah.
you can continue. I think it was an
I can continue?
yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. Any questions so far on this?
Hello, hello. This
Yes.
map are in 1854. So as a
Yeah,
hello,
Rekha, madam. Yes.
so the map is 1854.
Hmm.
So that time they are the governors of the 1854 or who had appointed in Mumbai. So they are the working on that.
No. Actually, I'm just showing you the example that the spatial science is that old.
Oh, oh,
This particular map was of the cholera outbreak, okay, in London.
okay, in
And
London.
it was John Snow who, for the first time, tried to map the incidences of cholera. Okay. And after mapping the incidences of cholera, he could come out with a pattern, and he could come out with the identification of the subspecies that were basically having more incidences of cholera. And because they could have the pattern, they could also go for the causal analysis, where that why in particular spaces, subspaces, the incidences of cholera were higher. And then they could track down the trajectory of these causal relationships. And these causal relationships you will find that identified. And then all these practices, mitigation, prevention, adaptation, all those practices were then very much were focused upon these kinds of, you can say, areas where the incidences were more. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm giving this example just to show you that how spatial analysis is possible. Okay, could I satisfy you, Rekha madam?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Okay. So now, if at all this is what we can do, okay, with this spatial, then you will find that what can be done with the behavioral science. Now, in case of behavioral science, you will find that we can have perception mapping, we can have cognition mapping. We very, very categorically we have crime mapping, because you will find that in fact GIS has been used in crime mapping like anything. And nowadays, in fact, geography department was one of our alumni. He very much wanted us to get involved in crime mapping and helping the police, Maharashtra police in crime mapping. And we had actually all kinds of discussion before this COVID pandemic. And then later on, with this COVID thing, we could not really proceed further. But definitely, we are going to have some sort of, you can say, a free service offered to police for identifying, like, during the crime and then emerging with the patterns, like in crime, special patterns in crime mapping. So crime mapping is very important, and in general I have given behavioral mapping. But then you will find that behavioral mapping, so any aspect of behavior, specifically this we have used in mapping the perceptions on sustainability. I just recently completed one project in ICSSR Impress scheme, and that is basically livability, urban livability. And for that particular project, we have used this particular ODK, and you will laugh at me. We had as many as 1600 questions in that questionnaire, because we have been very greedy. Like an idiot, we went on adding the questions, and then you will find that then we were in a fix that, oh my god, ODK will work. And I tell you, ODK worked, and we collected so many questions. There were some 1600 questions just to know what is urban livability, sustainability. So one of the sustainability parameters, like that Nikhil would be showing you, and he will be showing you exactly how the maps can be done. Now, when it comes to his spatial data science, as I said, it is data, and it is GIS. So GIS will offer you location and all that kind of, you can say, necessary details. And data science, where you will actually have your data, qualitative, quantitative. And then, when you club both the data, then you will find that this is spatial data science. Now, what is ODK? ODK is basically, there are many tools, okay, of data collection, spatial data collection, but we continue to prefer ODK for various reasons. And ODK has got a great flexibility, and it is quite diverse. You'll find that there have been three elements of ODK: aggregate, build, and collect. Now, aggregate is outdated. There is no aggregate here. Actually, aggregate used to offer a cloud where your data can be stored, but now aggregate is out of question, because no longer they offer any kind of a cloud. And hence it is build and collect and Google Sheets, so Google Drive. Instead of aggregate, So ODK aggregate, we used to go for a creation of a separate cloud where the data be collected. Instead of that, what they have done is they have actually shifted to Google, you can say Drive. Now all the Gmails have Google Drive, and hence, you can very easily collect your data on Google Drive. So this is possible. Now, what is this build? Build is basically, yes, Rekha, madam.
Ma'am, I want to ask. So, Sign, what happened? Somehow as a researcher, we are collected or data collected, and we are the, as per our knowledge, we can draw the relevant map because it is not authentic or to the GIS and to the government record. So, how can we draw the or map? It is authentic or not? Because I searched lot of time the geography or map should be collected, but is recognized by the government?
What one? Which one? ODK?
As means I searched one drainage system of Mumbai.
Huh.
So that map I want to draw, but I didn't get anyone specific geographers and map are there to draw these types of the.
No, that Nikhil is going to discuss. There are several layers available
Yes.
freely. Okay.
So government has not recognized these types of map because I searched
Which
read
type
in
of
the
map? Can you
newspaper.
show me, Rekha madam, can you show me the example? Which type of maps government does not recognize? Which government?
Suppose anyone our mind, we is a researcher and with the collected data. So we have to draw the geographical map or any sustainable activities map.
Hmm.
So it's recognized or not?
Obviously, yes. If it is authentic, it has to be recognized. And there is no government recognition required for us.
No, no.
Government should take our maps as a policy input. Because government, say for example, I am working with DST also. So, there is no bar on researchers that what they can come up with. I mean, if you look at livability maps, you will be shocked to see because Mumbai city ranks third in livability. Whatever the national records show, but then from what we have done on the basis of that, because livability ka bahut sara, see, all these things, that how data is projected, and then how it is projected for your own convenience, and so many things, fabrication, falsification. Okay. So everyone actually, see, I'm not saying that everyone does that, but then many a times I've seen that whenever it comes to government, one has to be very cautious about the data sets. And this is what we have observed, that whenever they come up with something, and you will find that actually prompted me to take up urban livability. Pune tops in this livable city ranking. Second is Navi Mumbai. Navi Mumbai, I understand because it's a planned city. And third is Mumbai. Now, I was wondering that on the basis of what they have calculated this livability index. And if you see the indicators, you will find that the indicators are quite, and then the calculation methods are also quite primitive. And see, so the point is that, as a researcher, it is our duty to challenge, because unless and until we give them some policy inputs, how they are going to emerge with good policies, comprehensive and inclusive policies. So there is no bar on making maps. Okay. And you can definitely go ahead. Only the point is your maps need to follow all the geographical guidelines in terms of scale and other things. So that's it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So you will find that this build and collect. Now, what is build? Build is where you build the questionnaire. Okay. And collect is where in your mobile application you collect the build form, and then you start collecting the data. Okay. So I would just go ahead with the results. I'll show you the results. Okay. Now this is ODK collect, and these are some of the step-by-step procedures that we will be doing with you. Okay, but just I'm showing you this slide. So you'll find that it is there in Play Store. So you have to just download this ODK Collect mobile application, and then you can start following these procedures that we will show you, because we are going to create one form here. Okay, and then I'll show you what we could do with this ODK is. You can see that, like, I don't know how many of you are in this biodiversity thing, but then what we could do was that in case of this, this is a wetland, and I was in the district committee of brief wetland documentation Raigad, and I am also in the overall Konkan wetland documentation committee as one of the representatives. And you will find that here, the basic problem is that most of the times we encountered with the question that in case of any water body, one has to map the high flood lines. Okay, and high flood lines are generally mapped in the after August, because August has got maximum rainfall, and then the wetlands are having the maximum water in them. Now it is always a problem ki high flood line mark kaise kare. So we went with this ODK. In ODK, this kind of option is there that you can actually have the point locations, line locations, or a polygon. So we went for point and line, and then with the help of ODK, we actually went to the wetland. We collected the points, and then you will find that after collecting the points, after we went in September, and we collected the water level points, and then this is how we were able to demarcate this particular high flood line. As per the law, there has to be 75-meter no development zone from the high flood line, and this is how then we were also able to emerge with a 75-meter buffer zone. Look at this. So if you look at this first, so this red first map shows the line, buffer line, and then if you look at this wetland, the blue line shows the flood line, and the red is the buffer line. And what we did, we did actually habitat mapping there. Habitat mapping means what? That we actually went with one barefoot botanist, that is a community, you can say, representative. And then with the community representative, we actually went to this particular Karambeli wetland, and we mapped all the trees. Can you see the mapping of the trees? Okay. And then you will find that when the trees were mapped, so basically through ODK Collect, we collected these particular, you can say, trees, we geotagged them, we entered the details, and then you will find that we brought this entire file, entire information in QGIS, and in QGIS, these maps were proposed. These maps were prepared. You can clearly see the maps. Okay. Now, with this QGIS, it is also possible to run a spatial query. And you will find that here in the first map, I have to just run a query, and it requires 1 minute. And when I went here, and then it is the tree trunk size, and you will find that the tree trunk size, it is greater than 100 centimeters. So if you look at the yellow dots, you can clearly see the yellow tree symbols. These are the symbols showing us the trees that are having the trunk size more than 100 centimeters. Okay, that is one. If you look at the second map, you can clearly see that it is Kate Sour we are trying to identify. And when you identify Kate Sour, you can clearly, now here it is the spatial distribution of Kate Sour, and you will find that it kind of a brownish kind of a thing. I'm very bad at colors, okay? So if it is not brown, please forgive me. But a kind of इसलिए मैंने kind of a brownish बोल दिया. So kind of a brownish, tree symbol you can see, and it is basically Kate Sour. And with this, it is just a 1 second query that you have to run in QGIS. You have to just say that, okay, search for Kate Sour, and then the software will immediately run around and then highlight the Kate Sour tree, and you can clearly see this particular Kate Sour. This is very important. We also try to map that whether there is any kind of correlation between a specific variety of tree and a specific variety of insect, so fauna. And then you will find that the pink is the insect, and then if you look at the circles, you can see that the circles are showing the habitat. And in some of the cases, we could see that some of the insects are only found near a particular tree shrub or just grass, something like that. And then this is how, you know, we were also able to shrub influence zone also we were able to demarcate. अगर आपको ऐसे लग रहा है कि आप तो जोग्राफर है, ये तो आपको ऐसे बोल रहे हो कि बहुत इजी है, लेकिन ये सही में इजी है। ये सब ऐसा एकदम अच्छा, मैंने बोला ना निखिल बहुत अच्छा मैप्स करता है। सो ये उसने बहुत अच्छे मैप्स किए, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं है दैट यू नो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी डिफिकल्ट। It's not difficult. It is quite easy. Only the thing is you will have to sit for a while and then just focus upon that. This is the example which sir was mentioning. Dr. Vivek was mentioning that the biodiversity audit, and I'm very happy to share with you that we have geotagged 5357 trees, and 5357 trees that are the trunk size is more than 10 centimeters, and this is all 24 people together. And you can clearly see the green dots. All these green dots are basically those trees. And then you will find that now the query is run for mango, banyan, and people tree, and you can see that the red ones are the mango trees, and you can see no, it is the orange one. I'm very bad at color. And you know the university people definitely know that this is a mango garden we have near VC bungalow. And then you will find that so mango trees are also, you know, dispersed, but then you can see the patch, concentrated patch here. Now this is again a pattern that look at mango trees, and you can clearly see that this is the pattern where the mango trees are found in a very concentrated form. And then you will find that this blue thing, so blue is a people one, and here you know you can also count the trees, how many trees are there. So it's very easy. I have to just tell the software bolo kitna hai people ka tree, immediately it will run around and calculate and give me the figure. It is that easy. And then you will find that the other one, you know, this banyan tree. So you know we were trying to search that because banyan people are the most important in case of carbon sequestration. Okay, now so far I was talking about this biodiversity. Okay, that is my favorite you know part. But here you can also see the social science. This is Zakir Hussain Nagar. And Zakir Hussain Nagar, it is basically Mankur Govandi area, one of the worst slums, one of the worst slums. And what we did, you know, we trained one student from the slum. And this is what actually my future direction would be, that I want to train the communities only. Train the communities and then let the communities map their own facilities and show it to the government that look, this is the scenario, this is the location, come clean the gutter and go. Okay, so this is how they should talk to the government and authorities. Now if you look at this Zakir Hussain, you can see the area, and it's a big huge slum, absolutely deteriorated conditions. And Anjum was my student and who stays in Shivaji Nagar. So I asked her, so I trained her, and she actually did this 106 samples she collected. So here the samples, you know, the points you can see, these are the samples collected. And here you will find that the spatial queries run. Simple question, whether the gutters are available or not available. And you will find that the yellow ones show that the gutters are not available. And you can see in this particular slum that so many places gutters are not available, very few places gutters were shown available. Okay, so if you look at this particular uh, uh, application, you can clearly see that this is how you can do. Now I will go to the any questions in this? Any questions for this particular part which I discussed?
No,
Have you understood?
yes, yes.
Great. Now we will enter into exactly this ODK thing. Okay. So for that, you have to go to yeah. If you look at this, can you see the ODK? Build.getodk.org, right? And then you will find that what you have to do is you have to first sign in. Okay, so you have to just create your login there, and I will open again. You have to just search this ODK. Immediately it has come ODK build. Yeah, and then see the first one that is coming, ODK build, right? Okay, and then this is the screen. When now, as I'm already signed in automatically, but otherwise, why I keep signing, because I then forget what is my password. Okay, and then suppose if you do something, then it will ask you that please register. So you have to just create your login and register yourself. So I'm coming back to this original. Now, so your form, I'm just renaming it as test form. Okay, we're done. I'm saying done. Then you will find that here, if you look at this particular field, you will find that this is add new. But before that, you can clearly see. Before that, you can clearly see that text, numeric, date, time, location, media. Choose one, select multiple, metadata group. Okay, these are so many options. So what does that mean? So suppose if I say add new, and if I say text, okay, this is the one. Now here you will also see the description. Now what does this mean is that basically this particular question is going to receive the answer as a text. Okay, and here you will find that data name. So let us take this as name, right? Suppose if you want to add anything here as a description, so you cannot add space here. Immediately it will say that space, comma, these, that not allowed. So what you can do is you can simply put an underscore, and then you can simply say that name, and you can say that respondent. Okay, so this is the name of the respondent. Khatam. Now this is something, that label. So you can here probably write in a simple English that name of the respondent. If you want to give any kind of a hint, like suppose if you are framing this question and if you want to give any kind of a hint, you can also give a hint like write only first name or something like that. Okay, so this is how you can come up. Just a minute. Yeah, and then you will find that suppose if you want to keep the question as read only, if you want to give the length, minimum, maximum, these also you can add. But generally we don't give these you can say additional formatting conditions, because sometimes it may not work properly if the user is not very friendly to ODK. Fine. So I have done this. Now this is numeric. Okay, what I have to do, so this is done. My first question is ready in this build. Okay, then you will find that this is the second, and you will find that I'm purposely getting this as a numeric. Now here I would say that maybe the age. Okay, again I'm going for underscore. Look at this. Suppose if I put this, no. If I do space, no. I have to give underscore so that it will take, because these are the field names, so it can understand age of the. So age your respondent. So I'm just giving this field. So this will appear in your Excel. English में simple age of the respondent. I will not write full respondent. That's it. And again here you can, maybe if you want to give any kind of a hint, you can give hint. Otherwise you can just leave it as it is. Done. This is the second question, numeric. Third is date and time. So here you can simply say date and time. Here you can say date and time, and here you can mention at the time of survey. So this is the hint. The date and time should be at the time of survey. Here you can have some options, whether it is a full date, year and month, year, full date and time, full date and time. So I'm writing here as full date and time. Okay, done. Then you will find that I don't need time again, so I'll just go for location. Now this is location, and this is the field which we will actually tag. This is the field where you will capture the locations. Here you can say that location of the respondent. Okay, and here you will find that hint could be that you have to take the location of house. It could also be if you're having some shopkeepers ka survey, it could be location of shop, so that you have to mention. It could be house. Now here you will find that, see, I was mentioning point, path, shape. So this could be point, location, because in geography you will find that there are three types of symbols to express the features over the earth surface. The first is point. These are basically the locations, individual. Second is path, so it is the line, and third is shape, so it is the polygon. We will stick to point, and then here there will be options. So default GPS, whatever global positioning tab you have in your mobile, will it be default, or whether a map needs to be shown where you will drag the point and then show the location, or manual. So manually you can also drag, or you can enter the location. Say for example, in certain cases where you want to use the handheld GPS, so there is a instrument which gives you latitudes and longitudes, and it is a handheld GPS where you can get actually the location of that latitudes and longitudes of that particular location. तो अगर आप handheld GPS से लेना चाहते हो, तो then in that case what you can do is you can get the location, latitude, longitude, and you can manually enter there. That is also possible, but then we are going for a default GPS. Done. So this is also location of the respondent. Yeah. Then probably if there are many media, barcode, so if you want to add, you can add, but generally media we don't add because then the file becomes quite heavy. It comes, आता नहीं है ऐसा नहीं है, लेकिन heavy हो जाता है, तो इसीलिए हम लोग avoid करते हैं उसको. Choose one. Now what is this choose one? Now choose one is something where actually, say suppose if the question is, say, water availability. This is your question. So I'm giving the field, the Excel में मुझे water availability आएगा, and then I will say that water is available or not. Okay, so here I'm giving, I don't require to give any hint because it is already self-explanatory. So here you will find that yes, I can give this, and underlying value y. Okay, so my answer will come as y in the Excel, right? And then if you really want to go for the bulk edit, you can simply say bulk, and here it has come. You can go here, the underlying value no and no. You can go on adding the question. Here you can say S, and you can say maybe sometimes. Understood? And you can just, this is a good thing that it also checks the spelling. So sometimes, in a hurry if you're doing. Now this is what it is. Okay. Now here you can also see, suppose if option yes, and you can here see there are two options, cascading and follow-up question. Okay. Now suppose if I want to go for a follow-up question for this. So here I can just click on this. And here I have to say that मुझे अगर पानी अवेलेबल है कि नहीं, ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है. If this is my question, and suppose if the answer is yes or answer is no, so in that situation, suppose if I want to go for some more questions, but only if my answer is no, what I will do? So the answer is no, okay, and then I will say, so I have given. You can see there is a change here. You can see the change. You will find that immediately a pin, U pin has appeared here, okay, and this U pin then indicates that there is a follow-up question. Now simply my next follow-up question I have to just add, and then I have to say, okay, coping. And this could be just an open-ended question, text, as I have done already. So, what are the coping strategies? Right? And then, here you can ask, hint me, you can say that this is an open-ended question. So, let people speak. Open-ended question, right? And then you will find that this is my another question, what if? Okay, done. Now, any query till this? Do I need to repeat the procedure? Yeah, is it clear, everyone?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, from where you have put this question, water is available or not? I skipped that part. After location media
Yeah,
and
yeah. This Alexandra, this choose one. Choose one.
choose one. And if it is an open-ended question, then we have to go to that
Text.
follow up, and then we have to select for text the next question.
Yes. Huh. Even here also, जरूरी नहीं है कि follow up or should always be an open-ended question. It could be anything. Okay, it could be any question. Only the thing is, here we are putting the condition that whether water is available or not. If water is not available, then what are the coping strategies? अगर पानी available ही नहीं है आपको तो करते क्या हो? तो यहाँ पे अगर no answer आया, तभी जाके यहाँ पे ये आपको question pop up होगा. If water is available, yes, then this question will not pop up.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, understood. Yes.
Yeah.
And then another question is in which server we are just uploading our data. Can I save it in my Google Drive?
Yeah. That is what we are going to show you.
Okay.
That is the best part of it. That see earlier when this aggregate was available that time. The aggregate का जो cloud था, it used to give two files. One file was .csv, that is comma separated file, and that comma separated file जो होता है, it is as good as Excel, so you can just convert it into Excel. And second used to be this XML, so which gives you the not XML, sorry. The second file used to KML used to give you the location. Okay. The advantage of aggregate cloud was that it used to give you the Z also. So X, Y, Z. So Z is the depth and Z is also the height. Okay. Only with this Google Sheet, we are exploring further on it. Only with Google Sheet, this Z is the little problem. It's not able to give you the Z. But otherwise, what you do is that instead of this aggregate cloud, now what we do is we actually attach this Google Sheet with this particular data. So whenever you are collecting through your mobile phone in your ODK Collect, that time the data directly gets uploaded in your Google Drive in the Excel sheet which you have prepared. Okay?
Okay, ma'am, can we save it in a shape format so that we can import in ArcGIS?
Definitely, that is what. So we can definitely import it in QGIS, ArcGIS, and so many. So it comes as an attribute table. Only the thing is that you may have to work a little if your if your questionnaire includes some of the open-ended questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you have only scales, or if you have only the say 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of answers, yes, no, sometimes, then you don't have to do anything for that matter. Okay, but then if you have some questions that are open-ended questions, then there actually it becomes a problem. And there, sometimes you will have to work with the Excel sheet. Like in our case, we had to work with the Excel sheet because we have emerged with so many, like mix of bundle of questions, because that were required. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any
thank
other
you.
question? Location on, yeah, location he has to keep it on. Yes. Location he has to keep on. Okay. And see, in case of ODK, the advantage is that if you are in open space, then you will find that ODK can capture, as many as satellites out of 24 satellites that are necessary to give the exact location. And there is, depending upon what kind of a phone you have, you will find that the accuracy is from 1 meter to 2 meters, location accuracy. Okay, so discrepancy can be there from 1 meter to 2 meters. But then generally also in handheld GPS, what we have seen, a similar kind of variation is seen. The very accurate location comes with the total station. Okay, but total station is too costly. It's not possible for us to really, go for that. But then otherwise, and another thing is there that even if you have addresses, okay, proper addresses, from that also in QGIS you can locate, you can actually shift those location to that exact address. Even in QGIS, that kind of, possibility is there. Okay. Yes, actually, this also you can have in Google Map. Even that kind of visualization, basically they provide. Okay, so this data also you can see in Google Map. That visualization is there. But then what happens, so Google Map, if you look at the base satellite image, you'll find that the base satellite image is quite old. Okay, and even you can import this, in Google Earth. Instead of Google Map, you import it in Google Earth. Because Google Earth is quite updated. Yeah, yeah. I think Doctor.
Aparna, can I
Yes,
ask?
yes, yes. Of
Yeah.
course.
Generally, the surveys that we do happen in forest or communities around forest where internet is not there. So when we move, if we keep GPS on, the GPS signal is slightly weak, but GPS at times is not there. So can we do it offline, and then the location will be picked up there, and then once we connect back to internet, things would work. Something like that happens. Or what happens under these circumstances?
Actually, sir, initially when you start the first form, you do one thing, that you remain, in the range, and you try to let your GPS capture the location. Okay. After the first form is filled with the location, later on it becomes easier for this ODK to collect the locations. So initially, the network connectivity is required,
Okay. My
but
second
later on it
question
will work
is,
on GPS.
yeah, that's great. Thank you. I tried to put Marathi and all on ODK. Even previously, it works well. With Google Forms, we always had a problem that when you download the data from the Google Forms, the Indian forms go haywire. Indian fonts like Marathi font goes haywire. You get something that is not readable characteristics. So when people respond in say Marathi or Hindi or Tamil, will that be recorded as a Unicode and we can see the responses, or what will be
No,
the
what
format?
in that case, what? Yeah, I mean, see, in that case, it could be bilingual as I have shown. Dr. Vivek, sir, open-ended. I mean, I was just typed, just when you said. Here you can see this particular question, open-ended question. So I've just written to me kai karta, just to show
Right,
you.
right. That I also did. That is
So
fine.
bilingual
When
it could
I
be.
get the data as a
Hmm.
CSV download or a JSON download, will that data be in the Unicode for text, or the data also preserves this format? Is the question whether the data preserves this format
The data
when you
will
download.
preserve this, but then what I would suggest that whenever it comes to answers, filling the answers, that will come as yes, no. So because ultimately you have to work on the answers, right? So when it comes to answers, it is always preferable to do this. Yes, Nikhil.
Okay.
Nikhil,
Thank
Nikhil
you.
wants to say something.
Vivek sir, if I'm not getting you wrong, that you want to know that when we download the data, it must be in a different languages. So someone gives it, right? So in that
Absolutely,
case,
Nikhil. Absolutely, Nikhil.
so in that case, we just downloaded double files, means download it twice and give an Excel sheet. There is a font kind of thing, right? In initial way, in first file, give a format of English, and second file give a format font selection of your whatever language your answer will be. That font is available freely on Google Inputs. You just select that font, then whatever another language the responses is being conducted, that will display in the another document, same document, but the font will be different for second document, and first document will be in English. Afterwards, you merge both the documents, which will be a bilingual. As per the responses, it can be a Tamil, it can be a Marathi, it can be a Sanskrit as well. Okay, the font is available. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes. Thank you, Nikhil.
Most welcome, sir. Most welcome.
Yeah. So thanks, Nikhil. And hence, you want whenever it comes to the which is Google form actually does not allow this. So ODK we tried, and ODK we could see also that this particular Marathi translation can be done any language, rather Unicode you have to use, and then you can actually form the questions like that. I would still prefer the answers in one particular language to avoid the complexities, because if you ask the questions, then people definitely know yes, no, that much they know. Okay. Or it could be, in description, you can give them the details, like here, when it comes to hint. So you can say that you write one for yes. Now that can be written in Marathi also. So I can just write here. What are the coping strategies? Okay. Ek tanker. So I'm just writing ek tanker, then two maybe vihir. So suppose if we give this in the hint description, they can be prompted to select 1, 2, 3, 4. That way, sir, we can work. Vivek, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at these coping strategies, so this is the question. Now there is also something called as select multiple. So we'll go for select multiple. And now, we can probably ask that maybe sources of water. Suppose if I say sources water, and then I can just say here that what are the various sources of water, and then it is a multiple choice question. So that multiple choice is what? So basically you can tick more than one, right? Now here again, you can go for bulk edit and then you can go on adding. So say, suppose if I write P for first, I will say pipeline. So I will say pipeline. Then I will say P and then I'll say T tanker. Then I will say probably pipeline tanker and then well. So W. So it could be well. It could be B, bore well. Okay, so people can have at a time 2 or 3 more, you can say, sources of water. Maybe in summer the water shortage is there, so they will have to go for the bore well water and that kind of a stuff. So that is there. Okay, this is done, right? And so generally whenever you go for all this, you can basically pick up this. Now there is also something called as group. Now here you will find that, so suppose if I'm asking questions on water, so I can basically create a group of questions that are very much related to water. I can create and simply what you have to do is that you have to just, suppose if you try to go for the caption, maybe you just say water accessibility. So water available to है लेकिन accessible है कि नहीं. So you can say that whether water is accessible. Maybe these are the slum people, very poor people, and they don't have tap water in summer because of water shortage. But then is tanker water accessible to them? So this could be the question. And then, I can just simply go for, so suppose if I want to go for yes, no. So I'll just write and then I can simply write here, is the tanker water accessible? Okay, and then I can just give the default values as yes, no. So first is yes, another is no, apply. I have to just drag this here in the group. Understood? So this particular question becomes a part of this group. Okay. So suppose if I write another question again I'm going for choose one. I'm writing borewell access. Is borewell water accessible? Again, I go to the bulk edit and I can simply say yes. Yes. In and no. Then apply. So this is my second question. What I have to do? I have to simply drag it inside. So this becomes the part of that group. Okay? Understood?
Yes.
Yeah. Any query in this?
No.
All have understood this. So this is how basically you can basically build. Okay. And when you are building this, let's go one by one again. The first thing what you have to do, simply you have to log into ODK build. Okay. Like this. And here, you have to sign in. So when you say sign in, you will get this particular pop-up. Okay. And this pop-up is username, email, password. Okay. And when you talk about this username, email, password, then if you don't have, so yeah, as I have, I will put in. If you don't have, I don't yet have an account. So simply click on this. Okay. So it will immediately emerge with a very small form username, which username you want, which password you require, your password confirm, and then your email ID, okay, which will be connected with this, and then sign up. And once you sign up, your login will be created. It is as simple as that. There is no big huge form that you have to fill in. Understood? So once you sign in, then you will find that simply you have to go to ODK build, just rename the form. Why? Because it is preferable to rename the form, then otherwise we forget. And then you can just go on. Now, what are the types of questions you can add? The first is text, the second is numeric, the third is date time, only time, location, media you can, but I can also show you this media, and here you will find that they also show the kind, a new image, selfie, annotate, draw, signature, audio, video, selfie video. So all these options are available in this particular media. But then, as I said, generally we don't go for media unless and until it is um, unless and until it is required. Okay, very much required, because we tried doing that, especially in case of this biodiversity audit Mumbai ka jo kya tha campus ka. There we had thought of, because many trees we were not able to identify in the first place. So we had taxonomist, but then when taxonomist was not present, then it was a difficult kind of a thing. So we thought that, in the same questionnaire, we will also add the image thing. But then that image thing was something that started becoming quite heavy. Actually, we did it for our um, this wetland thing. But then, when it comes to images, it starts becoming quite heavy. And so we thought that it is always so, unless and until it is required for you, then you need to go for it. And then if you look at this barcode, you will find that what it does is it scans a barcode with an appropriate application on the collection device and stores the result. So here, this particular barcode will allow you to scan the barcode which has been done, which has been there, and that information will be then stored in this particular field. Okay, so barcode also whenever it is required, when you can use. Okay, but this is generally what kind of a, you can say, requirement we have, and hence these are generally the fields: text, numeric, date, time, location. Choose one, select multiple, group. That is what we can do. Now here you can also see the field metadata. In this case, uh, metadata questions silently and automatically collect the information about the session. Here you can also see the ID. So this is the start time, end time, username, subscriber, SIM serial, phone number, start geo point. So this kind of a data it actually collects. So that is a metadata. What is metadata? Like in spatial sciences, metadata is a data about data. Metadata is described as data about the data. So whatever data you are collecting, so this particular ODK collects data about that also. It has its own data, and that data is a metadata. Okay. Any queries so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Rekha ji.
Madam, what is the procedure of the wetland? How to check? How to checking the wetland? Is the density of water or soil, or in the which day or which seasons they are checked wetland?
Wetlands. What are, I did not get you.
What is the procedures to check the wetland?
Procedures to
Check the wetland. The
check
density
the
of water
wetlands.
or this how much soil absorb the capacity of the soil.
Wetlands, soil capacity.
It is the
Water
process
storage capacity or what? Or soil type?
both.
So if at all if I get you correctly, you want to ask me the question that when it comes to wetland, so we have to analyze the soils, right?
Yes.
And if at all we have to analyze the soils, we have already collected the samples of 22 wetlands, but we could not analyze it. But then generally we
20?
have See, you have to collect the soils.
Um,
You have to go for the chemical analysis of soil.
yes,
And the
forensic lab.
chemical analysis will tell you that what is this particular type of soil is, and then
Huh.
what is its water retention capacity.
Okay. Is the check first the soil capacity? How much they absorb,
Water
absorb it?
retention capacity, water retention capacity. Because if you look at wetlands in biodiversity and in the natural habitat, wetlands are the best carbon sequesters. So the
Okay.
maximum carbon sequestration takes place in wetlands.
Carbon leakage.
Trees are the second one. Okay. Not
Hmm.
even second, trees are quite, I think sixth or seventh in that particular carbon sequestration rate. So these are always the swamps, marshes, and wetlands that are having the highest capacity of carbon sequestration.
So how much the highest capacity in the
That,
soil?
yeah, to understand the carbon sequestration rate. So for wetlands, you have to analyze the soil.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Huh. Hmm. No. That we generated, separately because, we earlier we were very greedy and we wanted to put everything, all information in that QR code. But जितना ज़्यादा information QR code में रहेगा ना सर वो इतना clumsy हो जाता है. QR code के लिए separate software use किया हम लोगों ने and QR codes were generated separately. Okay. Images we tried for wetland, but then we could find that it is becoming quite difficult to have the images also. And of course, that time ODK was also like just quite. It was in its beginning. Now ODK has also been updated a lot. But then if it is a small data set, say suppose if you have only 100 samples, in that case you can think of an image. But then just like this, say more than 5,000 samples, then that file becomes quite heavy and then it becomes difficult to work with that file. Of course, you can still download the file and then probably you can emerge with a second file where images are not there, right? So that kind of thing, we can do. And secondly, in QR code, we specifically, categorically did not include the location data because in our campus there are some very rare trees like Rakta Chandan. And opening this particular data to all, that was then little bit of a privacy issue, so we decided not to include the location information, but then we have allowed visualization. And I would like to inform you that we have also emerged with a mobile application, Leave Green. And that mobile application, you will have all kinds of, you can say, if time permits, we can give a small demonstration on that mobile application, all kinds of visualization regarding this Kalina campus is there. Even 137 species, the QR code is also there. We have uploaded the QR code in application. And this application also allows the user to geotag the trees. And suppose if you geotag 5 trees, it will give you the carbon sequestration rate of that 5 trees annually. So that kind of, small application also we have developed. Mobile-based application, Android-based application. So if time permits, we will just show you that. And then so we are not just concluding on preparing a report, but we are going ahead and also emerging with an application that will allow the users to also geotag their own trees, like their trees in their own areas, and also upload those data. So that data we will have. That data will come to us because there is a in the background there is a database linked with that. Okay. Yeah. So I'm watching. I'm having the watch, and it's 11:31. So we will have 10 minutes break, right? and we will come back
Yes.
at 11:41. Right?
Thank you, Aparna.
Yes, yes, Vivek sir.
Hello, everyone. Those who have not filled the feedback forms, please fill the feedback forms. 2 to 2:30 is the kind of time allotted. Till 2:30, we have to finish filling the feedback forms. And 2:30 to 3:30, we'll have 3:20. We'll have a discussion, you and I, and then we'll proceed for formal closure of the course. It looks like people are enjoying Aparna's session, very actively participating. And yeah, she is doing some very good work, I must say. And there are a lot of things we can learn from her. And that's what happens when people from different sciences who are doing good work come together. They end up telling us better ways of doing things because we don't have expertise. I think you want to become a principal or what? Do you want to become a principal of a college? Yeah. Or are you a IQAC coordinator? Absolutely. In everything, it is applicable. It has such a wonderful potential. It is less exploited by other social sciences than geography. We keep saying that we are psychologists, they are economists, the other people are geographers. But methods and what we have done is we have kind of also then restricted
But
ourselves to the methods boundaries. So we
I
should.
saw the campus, the Kalina campus from long 1994. I was completed my the post graduation in that. So campus lost and very low, rare collection is there now and available and existing. So only the botanical gardens and botany department and geography department have a responsibilities, no one others. This is the important. So under the developments, a lot of trees are cuttings also there. Otherwise, the previous one I saw the campus was fully the greenery was there.
Sarika, you are the co-host, so if there's a call that I have to talk on from HR.
Okay, okay.
Please
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, yeah.